Hey, it's Melissa here. And if you tuned into Contemporary Living last night, where we talked about self worth with prophetess Donna Anderson, then you know we had a great conversation. Bring a part two to you today because I just don't believe that in the time we had together yesterday, that we were able to cover, all that I wanted to get into. So I decided to dedicate a few days this week to just extend that conversation on self worth because I think it's so important. It's very important because the consequences of having low self worth can be detrimental to your quality of life. It can be detrimental to your goals, trying to attain your goals, your in and your interactions with others. So I want to at least break the self worth concept down just a little bit more so that you can have an even better understanding. Now, although we like even last night we were talking about self-worth, self-esteem. Now those two things are related, but they have some different nuances. Self-esteem is really how you think and feel about yourself, and we all know that that can change. Like, for instance, lots of times we feel good when we get our hair done, or we feel good when we put a suit on, or dress up, or that changes. I can go from feeling bad to feeling really good just by doing my hair or something like that. And then our mood changes, or how well you did something, or how well you did or didn't do something. you know the approval of others, that's all wrapped up in our self-esteem, and those things change. But self-worth self-worth is it's a broader term because it's deeper than self-esteem, because self-worth is knowing and believing in your worth as a person. And we're going to break those things down. So self-worth it's comprised of three things. So the first thing is self-awareness. Are you conscious? Are you conscious of who you are? What type of person are you? Do you even know that? What are the people, the places, or things that make you feel good about yourself? Or what are the people, places, and things that make you feel bad about yourself? How do you deal with negativity? You know, also, those are the things that you become self-aware, you become aware about yourself. What are you good at? What is something you can't do? I learned this year that I am not a bookkeeper. I am not a bookkeeper. Now I am self aware. So I should never be keeping books again. So that's the first thing. It's the self awareness, being aware of yourself. And then the next thing is self acceptance. Now that's the part of you that accepts you, the good, the bad, the ugly, and it also is a part of you not buying into people's BS. You know what their BS is? Belief system. So whether someone tells you you're cute or whether they say you're not so cute, you don't buy into that belief system, because I accept myself as I am. Self acceptance is really subjective. It's subjective to you saying, I'm like this, I'm like that. But even sometimes other people might not think that. So self acceptance is just you accepting, yourself, and not giving in to people's belief systems, because people will give you the BS, their belief system, all day long. So yeah, so self acceptance is the next one, and then the third one is self love. Ooh, that's a good one, because self love really has to do with you having an appreciation of yourself. And you can always tell if a person is practicing self-love by the way they take care of themselves, physically, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, because it manifests outwardly in your personality. It manifests outwardly in the confidence, knowing that you matter. You ever met someone and you say, yeah, their confidence, not arrogance, but they're confident in who they are. So knowing that you matter and knowing that you make a difference in the world, not putting yourself last and having a, a positive outlook on life in general. That is really what self love is about. So when you put those three things together, self awareness, self acceptance, and self love, you derive at self worth. Now, self worth is, it's a deep sense of, when we talk about self worth, it's a deep sense of that no matter how awful you feel about whatever situation you're in, as a person, you know that you are valuable. You know that you're worth loving. You know that you are worth being cared about. So that's really what self worth is. See, ultimately, self worth gives you emotional resilience. And when you have emotional resilience, you can always be in control of your response to tragic situations. That doesn't mean you won't get sad. It doesn't mean you won't have, times when you're depressed. It doesn't mean you won't go through the negative gamut of emotion, but what it is, you'll understand who you are in that situation, and that self awareness and that self love and that self acceptance will help you get out of those feelings. So, self worth, it also gives you that confidence, like I said earlier, that confidence, even if you're hurt, even if you're rejected, even if you're deprived of something, you know that you will still be okay because you understand what you need to do for yourself. If you get if life gives you that gut punch, you'll still know what you need to do. Like I said, you are allowed to feel the emotions, but that self-worth is going to give you that bounce back ability to push through. Because the reality is everybody gets a turn. Yep, everybody gets a turn. You get a turn to be happy, you get a turn to be sad, you get a you get a turn to go through it. That's just called being human. It's called life. um and then the other thing self-worth does, it enables you to put yourself first. Ooh, that's that's serious. And you put yourself first, like I said, not in a selfish way, but because you love yourself, you put yourself first. And to me, the one of the biggest things about self-worth is that when um you know what you're worth, you don't have to measure yourself against others. That can keep you stagnant. Because if you're always measuring yourself up against others, or you're always, your self-worth is put in, your achievements or how you look or any other thing that society makes you feel you have to compare yourself to be, do, and have, then that is not good. And that's the opposite of what self-worth really is. So I just wanted to pop in. I wanted to that was on my mind, and I just wanted to talk to you about it. So on my next video, because we talked a lot about self-worth, I want to talk about self-esteem because they're a relationship. And so I read somewhere that says self-esteem is like running on empty calories. Now we know what empty calories are, right? Empty calories are those things, those foods that we eat sometimes on a daily basis that give us it doesn't give us any nutrients. So having, self-esteem without the self-worth is kind of like running on empty calories. And I'm going to put that together for you in the next video. Again, this is part 2. What I'd like for you to do is go ahead, and if you haven't liked our page, go ahead and like our page. If you like this information that I'm giving you, go ahead and smash that like button. If you think someone can benefit off of this information, go ahead and share it. The other thing is, if you didn't watch our show last night, Contemporary Living with Prophetess Donna Anderson, start there. So that's all I have. So make sure you just tune in for our next live. And as always, be brilliant, be you, be blessed. See you next time.